Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. WX Ninja, thanks for stopping by. So we got some new updates, so we'll just get right to it. Here she is, Dorian. Powerful Cat 5 hurricane still. You can see the wobble. It's just wobbling back and forth, north and south. And this trek over land, like we thought, is weakened the hurricane just a bit. Not anything to write home about, though. As you can see, these outer bands are starting to hit Florida even more. So here's the latest update right here. 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. 175 mile an hour winds, 916 millibars, and moving west at 2 miles an hour. So it's really slowed. It's forward momentum by 4 miles per hour, down to 2. It's just about stationary. Just sitting here churning in the northern Bahamas. Those poor people, who say a prayer for them. It's just destroying that island. You can see some enhanced thunderstorms here on the east side of the storm. So a lot of convectivity, even though it's already gone through, unless this image right here was cut off and repasted or something funky happened. But we'll have to check that on another image. So here we go with another radar view that we've been looking at. We'll check the winds here. It says only 35 miles per hour, so there's a 47. Let's check it right at the end. 46. We're going to pause it at the end of the loop and then check it. Okay, so it does stay there. I'd have to believe this is higher than 35. Let's just take a step here. Let's check the same frame. I don't know if this updates frame by frame, but there was a frame in there that, I mean, there's 46. So as that strong cell came by, I got up to 46 mile an hour. Still powerful hurricane. So this is the enhancement on the backside that we saw on this view here. That's it coming around, looks like. Yeah. So just a huge system. See, it's pulling in some moisture here from the southern tip of Florida. The outer core is getting really close to Florida. Let's see if we can catch some wind speeds here. Nothing. 15. So that's the highest we saw. It's a 2 mile an hour. So see if we can get one pop up. 1. Yeah, so this is the highest one up here. There's a 21. So as these cells come on shore, they increase the wind. Again, that storm surge, I'm sorry, not storm surge, but the beach erosion, storm surge will happen if this thing gets on shore, obviously. But just a dangerous situation. Again, if you're in any coastal town in eastern Florida, you need to leave now. Here's the track. This track has shifted slightly to the west, ever so slightly. Again, the hurricane's not right here. It's centers more over here. So we will see what it does. Now this is this is what steers the hurricane right here. So I was talking about there's a hurricane out here in the eastern Atlantic or mid-Atlantic. There's one over the central U.S. They're not connected. So as it says, you have a weakness in the flow. So as you can see, these arrows indicate that the flow is coming out of the south, headed off to the southwest, then north and northeast. So this is what's making the turn. This is what all the computer models are catching on to, and that's why they think it's going to go up the coast here of the eastern U.S. Now, one thing that can happen, I'm not saying this will happen, but storms can get strong like this, and they can just get out of the flow here and just meander. Just sit here and meander. They won't get caught up in this western component of the backside of this high. They'll just sit here and meander and hang out and do their own thing. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not hearing anyone else say it's going to happen, but you know, I have seen those things happen in the past. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope this thing catches onto this backside of this high, and as this high breaks down and moves off to the east further, let's hope those steering currents can pull it up. But we'll see. This is a broad view. I have another better view here. If you watch that eye, you can see it, you know, kind of wobble. You see the darker colors go away. That's just a little bit of weakening as it's going over land. But look at this eastern part here. Look at all those storms just still firing up. So it tells me the east side of that storm is very, very strong still. You can see how much further to the east you have convectivity than you do to the west of the storm. And you also watch in the last frames, it's just about touching. Those high cloud tops are just about to touch the eastern seaboard of Florida. So I think that when you see down areas, let's go to this other one. When you get areas down here, you know, say from Vero Beach down into West Palm Beach and areas, I think they're going to start seeing some of this, you know, hit them. I hope not, but it just keeps going to the west. Now, one thing that could save everyone in Florida is, as we saw, this thing is slowed down to 2 miles an hour. So it's not going to advance much further to the west, and maybe that's what the computer models were catching on to. Because if you look at this projected path, here's 24 hours between here and here, pretty slow. It's a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So you can tell that they're thinking that it's going to catch on to, the computer models are thinking it's going to catch on to the backside of this high, and once it does, it's really going to start to speed up and, you know, just get out of here quicker. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully this thing will just meander like they're saying, and then it'll really start to catch the backside of that high and just take off. Because as of right now, it's not moving much. You know, west at a couple miles an hour is basically stationary. We'll look here. Now they say west at 5 miles an hour, but the Weather Channel has it west at 2. So this is as of an hour ago. So maybe it's slowed down a little bit more since this update, but 916 and 175 miles an hour. I mean, either way you cut it. 916, 175. That's a strong hurricane still. Yeah, if this gets back over water, the water must cool pretty quickly because they have it going 140. They have it weakening in through here, so maybe this water's a little bit cooler, or maybe a little more interaction with the west side of the system here. Going over land will help weaken it. But typically it's the eye that has to go over land for it to weaken. So that makes me think the reason it's weakening is because the waters are a little bit cooler. Maybe they're just a little warmer here, but then the warmer pool is not as deep, so that's why it weakens like that. Still, 120 mile an hour hurricane is really powerful. So if you live up here in the Carolinas, you know, and in coastal Georgia, you're still not out of the woods, because if this thing does come over, even if it doesn't make landfall, I mean, that wind field is, tropical storm wind field is this orange. And, you know, that's, if this thing comes like this, tropical storm force winds are going to hit the whole coast. And, you know, you're going to get storm surge. You get these little bays in here. As this thing comes up, you know, it's rotating like this. I'm sorry. It's rotating like this. But as this thing comes up, it's really going to throw the water into these bays. Anything that's, you know, say northeast facing bay, as this thing wraps around, it's going to just dump that water in there. And I know there's bays facing northeast and all kinds of rivers. When I was over here in Louisiana, you'd get a southerly wind and all the canals will start to fill up with water. It wasn't a lot, but it'd be a 15-mile-an-hour wind and they start filling up. So it's such a low-lying area. It doesn't take much to dig down and hit water. So water table is really, really high there. You dump more water, more rain, more wind, you're going to get some storm surge. So, this thing's coming like this. It's going to churn, and as it's coming along, it's throwing wind and rain and water straight back to the southeast or southwest, and it's going to fill up some of these places. You're going to get beach erosion. So I think this is going to be a big story as we go out. They got a Friday evening up here off the eastern seaboard. So, man, it's going to be a big story for a while. Depending on how close it gets, if it just turns directly north now, from this point, you can see it'll stay off the coast pretty far. So it won't be as bad, but still, even if it turns north, it still has to catch up with this high. It has to get into this flow. And this isn't to say the flow is way up here, it extends down, but it has to get stuck into this general hole of the back flow of the backside of the high pressure system so that it can start pulling it up and then pull it to the east. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if that happens here shortly. I'll probably do another update here before I head to bed. But man, what a powerful storm. Trying to see if I can catch one last one here. See what the last frame is. Has an update. It's 40 miles an hour. Who knows what gust? Probably 50, maybe 60 miles an hour. So that's pretty good gust. Again, these were 6 and nothing. I think this was the one we saw 15 on right in here. Just updated another frame. Let's check one last time here on the last frame. So there's a 40, 6, 1. So that's nothing you're going to worry about. Let's go back a few frames. Yeah, I was right there, 15 miles an hour in Treasure Cove. So you can just see the general land here. Let's zoom in one more. You just see there's little bays and rivers and little barrier islands that they're just going to get inundated with water as this flow right now is going to come around like this. So even if the storm stays off over here, this main band, still going to get some beach erosion, probably maybe some slight storm surge, a foot or two. But even that's not good. It still weakens the coast. So we definitely don't want to see that. It's just a massive hurricane, and it's getting closer and closer to Florida. They're definitely feeling the effects of these outer bands. Nothing too intense, but if you live West Palm Beach, those rain showers you're getting coming through right now, some of them are going to start to get pretty heavy. Let's look up north here. It's just out of range of whatever radar tower this is going off of right now, but you can see, there we go. Let's go out a little further. See how far away these bands are. There's probably other moisture, not directly related to the hurricane, but stuff the hurricane's pulling in. So that's like a band the hurricane's pulling in. You can see it right there. So that's going to be a strong line of storms that's going to come in Palm Bay area. So if you live over here, watch out. You're probably going to get hit. It's not going to be anything too severe. Short-lived. But again, you see these bigger cells trying to get organized. Excuse me, trying to throw it on shore. The winds will pick up. You'll get some heavy rain. Hopefully you don't get any flooding. And you'll get a break before the next band comes in so that the ground can catch up and not get too oversaturated. Just in case. You're going to need all the help you can get if this thing gets much closer. So we'll see. This is a very large one right here. I don't know how close it's going to come to West Palm Beach, but hopefully it's only in here. So there you go. That's the latest of right now. Like I say, it's about 3:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I'll try to do another update here before I head to bed. So stay safe. Again, if you want to get updates as soon as I post a video, just subscribe and hit the bell icon. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. I'll be sure to respond. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated tomorrow as well. So just stay tuned. We'll talk to you later.